Hello, Mr. Nisbet. How you doing? I think it's time we spoke about contracts because I've been looking on the One Football app and I keep seeing these transfer rumours with you linked with other clubs. I'd rather not see those transfer rumours. I'd rather see contracts renegotiated and signed on the One Football app, which is the sponsor of today's video. Yeah, have you not been seeing that at all? Well, you need to download the app then, mate. You can get it for absolutely free from the top line of the description because it is the best football app to keep up to date with all of the latest transfer rumours, which actually come from credible sources, which made me a little bit nervy because they're usually pretty spot on when it comes to transfers and stuff. So I did think other clubs would be talking to you. But let's get down to contract negotiations now and sort it all out. Hello and welcome back to On The Rocks. Hope you're all doing well today and looking forward to today's episode against St Johnstone and Hearts, which is very exciting. But before we get into those games, there's plenty of things to talk about. But before we talk about all those sorts of things, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. So the first thing I want to say is thank you, actually. I was looking through my YouTube analytics and the month of May, which had just been, that was the biggest month for views I've ever had on YouTube by over 100,000 views, which is absolutely mental considering one, it's May, which is like not a great time for Football Manager content anyway because it's like right in the sort of middle towards the end of the game's life cycle. And two, it's not like this new save came out then. This new save came out in like March, April time. Like May is like, I don't know, the middle of the save and it's just absolutely banging views still. And like people I just can't believe how good of a month it's been for views and things like that. So I want to say a massive thank you to all of you guys who've been watching my content, liking the videos, commenting for the algorithm, sharing it with your friends, stuff like that. Love you. Thank you very much. I've been very busy the past few weeks and sort of video making has been a little bit on the back burn to an extent. There's been no streams basically recently as well. No streaming because I've been so busy and stuff like that. YouTube takes the priority. So for it to be so busy for me and I'm not putting like 100% into the YouTube stuff right now and then to get that sort of return is mental. So I'm looking forward to actually be able to put 100% into it and getting hopefully even more views. So thank you very much. The next thing we'll talk about is actually in-game. We'll go through what's happened since you were last here before we start talking about contracts and a surprise transfer bid that came in. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But first things first, you were last here for the, the loss to United, the loss to Rangers, technically the win against Kilmarnock, even though we played it off camera, and then the big win against Zenit, confirming our place as third in our Champions League group. Since then, we have played a fair few games, but we've not really played very well, I'll be honest with you. We are getting some decent results, like a 2-1 win against Hamilton with Harry Storm and Ethan Ross getting the goals in that one. A 3-1 win against Motherwell was a decent result too, but we had to rely on a 93rd minute equaliser from Ben Knight to pick up a point against Hibs before we lost to Roma, which was not so great in the Champions League, but I guess kind of expected. We then did have a really good result against St Mirren, 4-0 there with Anthony Gordon getting a brace in that game. And we actually did beat Celtic 2-0, which was a great result as well. But then what wasn't so great was a 1-1 draw with Dundee United and Lewis Ferguson being sent off. So it's been a little bit up and down. Like we played obviously very well against St Mirren and Celtic. Didn't play very well against Dundee and Hibs. Didn't play very well against Hamilton, to be fair. We got very lucky to win that game, and Motherwell was a fairly, standard game, I guess. It's not quite been the same as it was, a few weeks ago with the 4-0s, the 4-1s, the 4-0s. We've just not been on our form, really. Luckily for us, though, other teams have slipped up a little bit as well. So we are sitting top of the table on 44 points. However, Celtic do have a game in hand. I think it's against Rangers by looks of things. So if they beat Rangers, they'll get ahead of us by a single point. So I think the best outcome there for us is a draw because we're currently 6 points clear of Rangers and I'd like to stay 6 points clear of them. Obviously a draw means they're 5 points behind us, but 5 points is still better than 3 points if they won that game. So ideally, whenever they play their game, we need them to draw. Speaking of Celtic and Rangers, they also qualified from their Europa League group, but we won't focus on that in today's episode because we're not playing Europa League stuff today. We're going to focus on contracts, transfers, and the league. The first thing though is this rather surprise transfer bid for Tom Richie from LAFC. They just came out of nowhere and said, hello Aberdeen, we like Tom Ritchie, your backup goalkeeper. We know he's only worth £1.3 million, but we'd love to pay you £4 million up front and have it rise to nearly £6 million in transfer fees. And I'll be honest with you, I think we should take this. And I know a lot of you are going to be saying, this isn't great, you shouldn't accept this, but I think we do, because Bazunu's better. If we compare Tom Richie with Aberdeen, Gavin Bazunu, you can just see like Bazunu is better in every single area apart from eccentricity, which actually is a good thing to be on the low eccentricity line because it means they're not going to do anything stupid. And then distribution, he's slightly better at distribution, but everything else Bazunu trumps him in. And there's only a year difference between them in terms of ages, so it's not like Tom Ritchie's got loads of room to develop to be better than Bazunu. Like, I just genuinely feel that Bazunu's always going to be the better keeper. So I think this is money too good to turn down for Tom Ritchie. However, we want to try and get as much as possible for him, don't we? So we're going to try and negotiate this up a little bit. So the fee is currently $4 million. Well, let's see if we can get $5 million for him. After 20 league appearances, can we get 750k? Per league appearance, can we get £75,000 per league appearance? After 10 league games, that's £750,000. So that's 6.5 million. And then after 10 international appearances, if we can get another 750 there, that would be beautiful. That takes it up to 7.25 million, which seems like a lot of money for Tom Ritchie. Money we can't turn down. I'm going to suggest it. They accept that just straight away. It is a little frustrating, but 7.25 million is a lot of money for a backup goalkeeper. I don't think we're going to get any more money elsewhere. Let's accept the bid. And then, speaking of contracts, we already briefly spoke about it in yesterday's episode. We need to sign up some players again for another season. Now, Vontae Daly-Campbell is already actually leaving the club, apparently because, of course, our contracts expire in May as opposed to June. Clubs can offer contracts to our players from December, not January, and that's exactly what Cardiff did to Vontae Daly-Campbell. Luckily, I wasn't going to give him a new contract, so I'm not too fussed about that one. But it does mean we need to give contracts to Suter and Nisbet ASAP. Thiago has a one-year deal with us, but he has not really been very good at all. So for me, I don't want to give him a new contract. So we'll wait and see till the very end of the season if we give him one. But for 10 grand a week for a player on a 6.7 average rating for a team top of the league, it's not great. So for me, we probably don't give him one right now. Let's talk to Nisbet first though, because he is more of the priority on the grounds that he is just an absolute goal machine for us. 25 league goals in his first season, 32 overall, 23 league goals and 30 overall in his second season, and right now 11 goals and 12 in all competitions in this season so far. So he's having a storming time, Nisbet. Fingers crossed he just keeps scoring goals for us. We're going to offer him a new contract. He's currently 27 years old. So for me, I don't want anything much longer than a 3-year deal. Important player. He's happy with that. Don't want to be a star player. Finalise promises, negotiate contract. He wants a 4-year deal on 8 grand a week. He's currently on like, is it 4.5 grand a week right now? I want to bring it down to 3 years. 3 years, and then we can maybe get rid of him when he's 30 or something like that. Because I imagine by that point we should have some better strikers coming in. To bring the wage down to about 6, see if he accepts that and get rid of that unused substitute fee. For me though, I don't want to adjust any of his bonuses because they are what's going to keep him happy. Thing is, he's locked in a 4-year deal now, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but we have to bring the price down a little bit for that to work. 6 grand. He still wants 8.25, 6.25. He really is not going to budge from his 8.25, is he? How about 7.5? He's just rejected it completely. Okay. We'll talk to Kevin another time about contracts. John Suter, on the other hand. Now, it's a difficult one. He's declining. He's not playing that many games for us. Although he has made 11 starts this season, 10 in the league, 1 substitute appearance. So he's getting game time still. But he's one of those players where he's very quickly going to be out of my plans, particularly if we bring better players in. He's currently a star player. He's probably going to want to be a star player. And he might actually want to sign a contract right now with us because promises we have to give him some more playing time. He's sort of guilt-tripped me into giving him some more playing time. So he's currently happy with that. But he might not want to sign a new contract until that's sort of been like fully succeeded. You know what I'm trying to say? So offer a new contract, and he doesn't want to talk about contracts right now. But for me, that's not the worst case scenario, because I'm still not 100% sure if I want to keep him or not. So they're the only two contracts to talk about right now. At the end of today's episode, we may come in for Anthony Gordon. If we look at his contract information, his contract at Everton expires at the end of the season, as you can see, which means from January onwards, we can offer a contract to him. However, he is wanted by a lot of clubs, so this will be difficult to keep hold of him, but we're going to do our best. So for the first game of today's episode against St Johnstone, we have got Bazunu starting in goal for us with a backline of Portilla, Herrera, Suter and Torres. Winks, who's one of the most informed people in the squad, starts alongside Tam McLumper in the midfield. Anthony Gordon and Ben Knight start out on the wings, with Shankland starting up front alongside the most informed person in the team right now, causing a storm. It's Harry Storm, the striker. So as kickoff is upon us at basically the halfway point of the season, I feel like we haven't really actually spoken about the league all that much. It's all been Champions League stuff. It's all been big money sort of stuff. It's all been Wonder Kids. We've not really thought about the league. Obviously, we won it last season, which was absolutely fantastic and a really great achievement for us. But we haven't really spoken about what we want to do in the league this season. For me now, as long as we always finish in a Champions League place, I'm happy, I think, because Celtic and Rangers have got bigger budgets, they have got better players. The likelihood is they are more likely to win the league title than we are. So for me, I'm not going to be too upset if we don't win it, but I do want us to be at least second in the table, or when we get a third Champions League place, third in the table. But top three, we've always done that. So for me, the league kind of goes on to the back burner to an extent. We do have a chance though to go further ahead in the league table right now, because I think as I was talking I saw Celtic go 2-0 down to Motherwell, which was pretty interesting. So as it stands right now, we're 0-0 with St Johnstone, but a win would give us big breathing room against Celtic if they end up losing to Motherwell. So fingers crossed we actually start winning this game, although St Johnstone are coming forward right now as Robertson gets the ball out wide to Marshall in the area, and a good block there from our defenders. The clearance though not quite so good as Shankland. Good challenge there, as it's now a 3-on-2 situation, although Shankland is through on his own. Can't get it on target. Yeah, as you can see though, Motherwell are 2-0 up at half-time against Celtic, which is fantastic for us. So even a draw isn't the worst result if Celtic end up losing, but we have to capitalise on situations like this. The only way we're going to win the league title again this season is if we win when Celtic lose, for example. So we need to make sure we do something better in the second half, as it's nearly 60 minutes on the clock. Shankland's pass is terrible, and we're not really creating. We don't need to create anything. Harry Storm collects his 7th of the season after the keeper clears it into his face. What an absolutely fantastic goal to score for Harry Storm. Great determination for him to chase the keeper down, put him under pressure, but he does just kick it into his face. And Harry Storm, rather than falling over in pain, goes to celebrate to the Aberdeen fans. So potentially a bit of a let-off for us there with 20 minutes to go. Let's not concede a goal now, as Bazunu makes a good collection there. You love to see it. Now he's going to hoof it up with his 13 distribution. If this was Tom Richie, that might have been a little bit better, but that's the only way Tom Richie is better in goal. I'm still confident and happy about letting him go to LAFC. I think it's a good move for him personally as well. He'll play first team football there, which gets him back into the Scotland squad, which I feel really guilty about taking him out of, essentially, because he's not playing enough games here for us, because he was Scotland's number one for the Euros, as we've just won a penalty, which Harry Winks is taking. Is he the best penalty taker we've got on the pitch? I don't think so. I think we give it to Shankland instead. It's normally Nisbet or Ferguson, but neither of those guys are on the pitch, actually. I don't have any other penalty takers set after them. So I'd rather see Shankland take it and Shankland score. Is he on it? He is on it. Good, you love to see it. Make it 2, Lawrence. Come on, lad. Show me what you've got. For a man with 17 finishing, he has bottled 2 huge opportunities today, as Motherwell are still beating Celtic 3-1 now. I just saw Celtic had missed a penalty as well, so it's all going well for us there. But we've not. We're going to rue that penalty miss now, aren't we? They're going to score from open play at some point. They'll equalise, and we will be kicking ourselves. As there we go. Here, not coming. Great save, Bazunu. A couple of changes with 10 minutes to go or so. Tamatlan put off for... Have we got no centre mids on the bench? That's an error on my part. Ethan Ross on you come instead. Shanklin is going to come off for Sean McRae. And I'd like to bring Carlos Borges on the left-hand side for Gordon. Borges coming forward then, swings the ball into Sean McRae, the youngster, putting it just over the bar. The brother of Thad McRae is currently out on loan at Hibs, who hasn't scored a goal for them in this particular fixture right now. But that's not too much of a worry. Thad's still playing good football at Hibs, I believe, as we end up winning 1-0 in rather lucky circumstances. I did say in between episodes we haven't played particularly well, and you can sort of see there we haven't played particularly well, but at least we came away with the victory as Celtic lose, so we go 5 points clear of them. Now that is delightful. Particularly with Celtic having a game in hand, it doesn't actually matter if they win or lose now against Rangers, because we'll still be ahead of them in the table. I've also just seen that every single player in our backline is wanted. Who wants Juan Torres? Arsenal, Werder Bremen, Celta Vigo, Sevilla. Suva's wanted by Bournemouth, Sheffield United and Wuhan. Herrera's wanted by Arsenal. Brian Portier wanted by Leipzig. All bigger teams than us, and we need to be so quick on this Anthony Gordon transfer as well. Of course, we've got 2 new players joining us on the 1st of January as well. So what we'll do after this next game against Hearts, what we'll do as Harry Storm picks up an injury for 2 weeks, that's not quite so good. We'll go through to the 1st of January, see these new players join us, and then offer a contract to Anthony Gordon, and fingers crossed he signs for us. And Tom Richie is set to sign for LAFC for £7.25 million. I think that's a really good deal. I mean, obviously, they accepted that negotiation immediately. We should have gone for a little bit more, but I didn't want to get too cocky and then pull out completely. So I still think that's a very, very good deal for Tom Ritchie. We'll accept that, send him on his way. It's frustrating for him because I think ordinarily he will become Aberdeen's #1 keeper and Scotland's #1. But in this save, we picked up Bazunu, who is just a special talent. But for the game against Hearts, we're going to get Harry Storm off the pitch for, where is Nisbet? Nisbet, just coming back from an injury, is going to come onto the pitch. We also need to get some more centre mids on the bench. For whatever reason, they weren't on there. Alan Campbell will come on and actually swap over with Harry Winks, I think, for this game. See how he plays instead. But other than that, happy with the team, happy with how things are going. Let's submit it and try and beat Hearts, who last season were a bit of a bogey team for us until the final day of the season, when we beat them to win the league title. So as kickoff is upon us, hopefully Kilmarnock and Hibs do us some favours by beating Rangers and Celtic respectively, although Rangers have just gone 1-0 up in their game against Kilmarnock, so maybe not doing too many favours for us right now. Torres, what was Torres doing there? And that's not the first time we've seen him do that in an episode. I think literally yesterday's episode or the day before episode, he did the exact same thing. Goes for a slide tackle and misses everything. I mean, there's quite a few issues in the build-up to this goal, but what was Torres doing there? I don't know. And, well, maybe Tom Ritchie would have saved that. Okay, a very poor start to the game there for us. Let's not dwell on it too much, but as Portier clears the ball, it only goes as far as Hearts players, and Hearts always seem to play well against us, which is really frustrating. I don't like it. Why are they beating us? Why are they our bogey team? I don't enjoy it. And after a great result for us last time out, Torres, what's he doing again? Torres again? I don't like blaming players for conceding goals, but Torres has basically been the big issue there for both goals. And this is what's frustrating. Every time we get given or handed a lifeline by Celtic for us to go clear at the top of the table, we just mess it up the game afterwards or something like that. And it's so frustrating as we're 2-0 down at half time. Thrash the arms. Your pride is at stake today, everyone. And in fact, let's make some half-time changes, shall we? Gordon has played terribly, so's Ben Knight, to be fair, but let's get Ben Knight off for Carlos Borges and bring him on as a winger on attack. I would take Juan Torres off. We still have Vontae Daly Campbell for now. Let's actually bring him on, to be fair. Why not do that? And then actually, why not? Let's get Anthony Gordon off too, bring Ethan Ross on. Just change everything now. And there's a highlight straight from kickoff. Will this change everything for us as Borges comes it's not going to change everything for us. We've lost possession immediately, we have won it back, and Kilmarnock have equalised against Rangers. So it's not all doom and gloom right now, as Borges gets it out to Campbell in the middle, not reaching the intended targets. Portier's ball back in the middle is straight to the keeper. Rangers are now 2-1 up again, so that was very quickly ended, that little bit of silver lining. And now we've just lost possession again. And if Hearts score right now, I'll be so cross. Although Shankland makes a good interception. Nisbet gets past one man. Can he get past another one? Into Ethan Ross, who can't score. Luckily, Celtic and Hibs are still drawing, so we still will have made up points on Hibs. Luckily for us, Celtic and Hibs still drawing, so even if we do lose to Hearts, we will have made points up on Celtic, which is quite nice. But I can't make changes, can I? We've made all the changes we need to. Why are we just playing absolutely dreadfully today? I don't understand how we've gone... Like, how does this sort of thing happen? It just happens every now and again. And it's really frustrating. And it's always against Hearts. Always against Hearts, which is not much fun at all, as they go nearly 3-0 up. We are very inconsistent right now, where we can play brilliantly one match and then, like the Celtic game in between episodes, play brilliantly to win that one, 2-0 for example, and then we just play awfully a few games later on. Like, I don't understand why. It's a bit frustrating as Nisbet hits the post. But I guess to an extent Celtic are like that too. You know, they just lost their previous game and they're now drawing this one. Like, they've not picked up a win in today's episode, so I guess for us, you know, maybe we shouldn't be too harsh, because obviously, and Rangers had a poor season as well for Rangers standards. They've not been great either. That's why they're a few points behind us right now. So I guess we're all making mistakes, all of us. It's just frustrating we can't capitalise on it, because if we capitalised on every mistake the other team's made, we'd be far and away at the top of the table. We still are top of the table, which is great. It's just, this is a game we should have won. So not ideal for us there, but hopefully things are going to change into 2025 when we get some new players, Richie leaves, and hopefully we sign Anthony Gordon on a permanent deal. A lot of you might be thinking, Tom, why on earth do you want to sign Anthony Gordon? He's been on loan this whole time. Surely you can get someone better. And yeah, maybe we could get someone better than Anthony Gordon. However, we'll look at his goal contributions in just a second. Gordon has been here every single season for us and always hit double figures in league goals and always hit at least 7 assists in the league as well. Then when you look at all competitions, it's kind of like behind me a little bit here. You can sort of see it now, look. That first season, 20 goals, 10 assists in all competitions. The next season, only 11 and 8, so not quite as good there, but still good in the league for us. He didn't play as many cup competitions. He got injured for a little while, didn't he? He was quite injured that season, Anthony Gordon, I remember. The season afterwards, 20 goals, 11 assists, and so far this season, 11 goals and 3 assists. He's always up there, getting 25 plus assists and goals in all competitions. He is integral, and I think we need to sign him permanently. Now, Rangers are making a bid of over £500,000 for Stephen Nichol, who is a centre mid that we signed for £100,000 from Ayr United. He's been on loan at other places and things like that, and I don't know, he's not quite developed much. No attribute is really stand out, and he's dropped from 5 to 4-star potential. I think we use this opportunity to actually make some money. I think we maybe get rid of Stephen Nichol. Now, if we can just push the bid up a little bit, so they're offering $550 up front with $875 down the line. Can we push it up to, how about $750 now, and then instalments of, I want 250k, so that's £1 million total, 250, that's 750. So we get £1 million for him. After league appearances, we want another 250 for 1.25 million. And then after international appearances, let's get another 250k. So if he makes one international appearance, we'll get basically £1.5 million for him, which I think is a decent deal for a 19-year-old who I don't think is that good. Suggest terms, they've withdrawn the offer. Okay. The thing is, his contract is about to expire. So how much does he want for a new... I don't want to let him go for free. So how much does he want? If we could bring this down to like 700... If clubs want him now, they'll want him down the line. I'd rather give him a contract now than sort of lose out big money later down the line. Let's get him a new contract then. Tyson Brown, congratulations. You've just won the Irish Under-21 Player of the Year. Big news for you. Congratulations there. Big future for Tyson Brown at this club when he develops himself a little bit further. And Gavin Bazunu comes third in Irish Player of the Year behind Adam Ida and Troy Parrott. I don't think there's an equivalent Scottish award, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'm sure Nisbet would win that easily. Oh, Celtic and Rangers playing their game in hand right now. Hopefully, it's a draw for us. It's not a draw. Rangers win 2-1 and go top of the table on goal difference. Not good. But as the 1st of January rolls around, we've got 2 players joining the club. Admilson is I think, Brazilian centre-back, and Owusu is a Ghanaian left-back, if I remember correctly. So there we go. Tom Richie is now gone to LAFC. Fans are very unhappy about selling him, who's a regular starter. He was not a regular starter. He made 7 appearances this season. It's not very regular. But here we go. Owusu and Admilson arrive. And Admilson, with 3-star current ability and 5-star potential, does look alright. A little short at 5'11", but I think he's a good ball-playing defender, some decent passing, getting trained up. This is a great signing, I feel. I think this is a really solid signing, actually. I'm so glad we saw him. Ignore the average ratings he got at Flamengo. Ignore those. There's nothing hugely standout, but he's only 18 years old. He will develop nicely. I think we've picked up a good bid there. And then Owusu was a bit of a last-ditch attempt to sign someone, but he comes in as a backup left-back, which is all we wanted, on a free transfer, on a cheap deal, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, has got some decent enough crossing and dribbling, defensively looks fairly solid with his good marking and tackling, good teamwork, good positioning, good anticipation. A good player. Nothing special, but a good player. Stuttgart have also put a bid of £3.5 million in for Ethan Ross. Okay, we did want to get rid of him, didn't we? 3.5 seems like a really good deal. I'm going to reject it, though, because if they've just come straight in offering 3.5, it's turning into a transfer special now, isn't it? If we can up that, let's go 6 million. Let's see if we can get 6 for him. And at the same time, Anthony Gordon approached to sign him straight away. Important player, that's fine. Stepping stone, that's not so fine. I don't want to have a minimum fee release clause in there. But let's negotiate this. 31 grand a week. All right. Okay. This is not what I expected. He's currently on 1.5. How on earth has that happened? We can't afford that. We can afford it, because clearly we can offer that if we wanted to. It did say we could offer that. But there's no way that I want to pay 31 grand a week for him. He's not that good. He's not 31 grand a week good. I genuinely think we could get someone much better in. Much better in. I mean, by looks of things, the board have massively upped our wage budget on the grounds we've got £36 million in the bank. We were right on the limit before. They've upped it massively. I don't remember seeing a news article about it, but we've now got £274,000 a week to spend on wages, which is why we can afford that £31,000 a week. However, I don't want to spend that on him. If we make it a 5-year deal, or four is the most we can do, if we bring it right down, I'll do 15 for him. 15 seems reasonable. And then just keep everything else at agent fee, just hoof that right up to the max. Have £1 million signing on fee. Suggest he still wants 29 grand a week. And look, I'll keep pushing the agent fee up, well, as high as it can go. Like 18.5. Like there's no way. Anthony. And other clubs still, he'll go somewhere else, won't he? One of these clubs will get him. But I don't want to pay that sort of money for him. So that could be the end of the love affair, I'm afraid. Which is a bit of a shame. Ethan Ross is now upset he can't go to Stuttgart. Or that you can go to Stuttgart. And Ethan Ross is now happy to stay at the club because Ben Knight's told him to stay at the club. But no, you can go to Stuttgart. We just want more money for you. And the board have now raised the transfer budget to 24 million. Okay. But whilst a transfer special is very tempting, usually nothing good comes up in January. January is usually pretty difficult to buy in. And I think if we have a very good second half of the season, if we win the league again, if we do well in the Europa League, it's going to be more cost efficient and beneficial to us if we look to spend our £24 million next season. I think that's what we try and do. We spend it next season. So what that means is that next episode, we're going to come back for the Europa League first knockout round. We've drawn against Midtjylland in that one. We had the draw like a few weeks ago in between episodes. We'll talk more about the other teams in European football as well when we come around to that next episode, because that will be an exciting one. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you all tomorrow for a great episode. Fingers crossed. Have a good one. Goodbye.